Hey everyone, let's start the first weekly check-in vlog. My goal for the first quarter or this year in general is to make check-in videos of what I'm reading and how I'm doing on my goals in general, to not lose track of them and see how I'm doing. It's partly to hold me accountable and also an easier way to update you on what I'm reading. And usually I finish books on the weekend very often, so I can give you a little insight of what I finished. And normally I run on Saturday mornings. It's Saturday morning now, you all know that. And I would finish my audiobook, but I'm too tired and exhausted to run. So let's start with a yoga session. And yoga and we're not the bestest of best friends. I know it does me good and I feel better after I do it, but I never enjoy doing it in advance. So I always struggle to find a proper regular yoga routine and often just go to a quick 10-minute yoga session for I'm too tired to do anything else, or I'm going to the gym in the afternoon or evening, so in the morning I do a yoga session. One part of what I want to achieve this year is to gain back more energy, and because I've noticed that when I feel tired and exhausted, lying down and doing nothing is not helping. I am trying to up my movements throughout the day with little things and the normal exercises I do. I joined a gym a few months ago and I'm trying to find a way to put that into my daily routine with all the other movement routines I had before. I am feeling good after the gym, but I haven't really felt the gain of energy yet. Today is the 11th of January, and the first week back at work really drained me. I actually went home sick yesterday because I was too exhausted and tired to do anything anymore. And since it's been a quiet week anyways, it's not like I'm stressed out for work and missing stuff. So I decided to take the day, calm down and rest. And that was good. But today I kind of have a lot to do. But first yoga and breakfast. And then I'll check in with you sometime later again. It's 1 p.m. now and I successfully managed to film and edit and upload my anniversary video for 14 years on BookTube. Thank you all again for watching and sticking around. And I need to go outside now. The most German thing about me is that I need fresh air. I was raised on at least leaving the house once a day and you have to catch some fresh air. So that's what I'm going to do now. And I have 1 hour left in my current audiobook, Die Leiden des jungen Werther. This is a German classic that I've been rereading since school, and I started off really hating it in school, but my teacher kept saying back then that she hated it the first time too, but every time she reads it again, she likes it more. And dang, that teacher was right. I'm listening to the audiobook for the first time, and that is highlighting even more the beauty of the language, the humanity and the capture of the human condition. The book was written in 1771, I think, and you could just pick a teenager now and have him write it or talk about his experience, and it would be the same in a way. Not all the way, but you know what I mean. It's the human condition, how we feel, how we look at the world, how we don't fit in, things like that, how we fall in love with the wrong people, all those things. 1 hour left. Let's see if I don't hate Werther at the end of this reading, because he is a whiny boy. Let's see if that works. I finished Die Leiden des jungen Werther, and I remember the ending was kind of tedious, and it is. So what is the book actually about? The book is following a young boy, man, who in the first part is characterized as very sensitive, observing his surroundings and not really fitting into society. He's well off, so he doesn't really have to work, but he works for a stint and gets into trouble with his superiors. But mostly this book is about his relationship to a woman named Lotte, who, when he meets her, he's very infatuated with her immediately, learns that she will be married to someone else soon, and still feels feelings. And the first part is completely written in letters he writes to his friends, describing his emotional state, his thoughts and ideas, and basically the human condition of how he looks at life and how he experiences life. And that feels very contemporary, even though it was written 300 years ago or so. And I really enjoyed that part more every time I read it. The second part is mostly letters, but also commentary and summary of what happened, because his infatuation soon turns into obsession, depression, and suicide. Most of the second part, you can see him decline in moving away from society even more, not being able to let go of Lotte and keeps hanging around, is friends with them, and all of the things that are happening. And I must say, I did like it the best so far. Like I said, I've read it multiple times before after hating it in school and trying every now and again to see how I feel. I really enjoyed the audiobook. Listening to the words spoken out loud made me appreciate them more, and the writing and the concepts of what they are talking about. I still feel that Werther and I will never be friends. How can you be friends with someone who's obsessed with someone who's married and doesn't seek distance and falls down into this hole and basically whines around a lot how sad his life is and how she loves him, things like that. She also gives him mixed sensations, so but overall I did enjoy it. It started snowing while I was out. I didn't expect that, so I'm kind of cold now. Being in this constant state of either or is really frustrating. Yesterday when I got home from my walk, I was so frozen solid from getting into this snowstorm, rainstorm. It was snow rain for some reason. I was really cold. I felt like a popsicle and I couldn't get myself to sit down and read. So I ended up eating soup and watching X-Files, and that's all I did for the rest of the day. And this morning I finished my book in bed, so got up really late, and it robbed all the energy and motivation I had for other things. I did make myself to vacuum the apartment because I really need to clean, but that's all I can do. My brain is really mushy now, and I don't know how to do things when I'm getting a headache from doing things. And it's annoying. So I'm having breakfast now after I did some cleaning. I'm not going to do or attempt any Korean now. I've been doing rather well with doing Korean before I sit down for breakfast. So between morning exercise and breakfast, because then I haven't used my brain for anything else yet. But today I finished my book. So I read 4 hours in bed, and it's just the capacity is not there. So enough whining. It's Sunday lunchish almost, and let me tell you what book I finished. I finished the second book in the series that I started in December, The Husky and His White Cat Shizun, and I'm confused. I do enjoy it in a strange way, but I find that at some point during the book I thought if the writer has changed, or rather I thought the translator changed, but it didn't. The pace and the voice of the book felt different, and I'm asking or questioning if it's my perception of the text or if it's really different. In the first book we met all our characters, and I felt a little bit that there was an obsession with sex as a character trait for one of our main characters was a little bit exaggerated, but at reading book 2 now, where that was completely absent, maybe that was the fun part of the book. The story is set in a cultivator fantasy world, and we're following this cultivator who used to be a really evil emperor ruler, but then he died and got reincarnated into a time when he was a teenager and was just in a sect learning cultivation, and he was a disciple, and the friend disciple that he had a crush on was still alive, so nothing bad had happened yet, and he didn't hate his master yet. And in the first book there was a lot of misunderstandings, a lot of finding our way in there, a little bit of fantasy, but the fantasy was okay. In this book, the fantasy felt rather boring and not that compelling and very, very slow paced. The master, due to some reason, was a kid most of the time. There's sort of a love triangle situation going on here, and I'm not a big fan of love triangles, but it's also enemies to lovers, so who knows. The disciple who got reincarnated, he has a crush on his fellow disciple, but also had a strange relationship with his master in the first book, and in the past or in the future that's now his past, who knows. So now he's meeting his master from a different perspective and is confused about his own feelings. So that is something that I really like, and I like to see evolve. Of course, the second book ended on another cliffhanger and misunderstanding, or rather a development where the love triangle could become more important in the next book than the enemies to lovers. So I'm not completely convinced about the series. Like I said, I liked the first book a lot more than I liked the second, because it was more fast-paced, it was more compelling. I hope the third book is more compelling and fast-paced again, or otherwise I'm having trouble finishing the 9 books in the series, which is one of my goals this year. Oopsie. So I'm going to have breakfast now, because I haven't had that yet. And then I'm going to probably go for a walk, not starting a new audiobook. I need to catch up on some podcasts, and since my brain is aching anyway, podcasts are perfect for that, because I don't care if my mind wanders or I don't listen. It's just background noise a lot of the time. Yeah. Well, that didn't go according to plan. It escalated a little bit. I wanted to go out for a short walk, and then I ran into a friend, so it's 3 hours later. I can't feel my face, it's a little bit frozen. Back home, change of plans. It's 5 p.m. already. I am changing dinner plans to having veggie soup again and crawling onto my couch under a blanket. I'm kind of cold. I'm not going to read anymore today. I didn't reach my reading plans. I had meant to read my physical book. Not going to talk about that because I didn't even touch it. And yeah, I am okay with how the weekend turned out. I feel recharged and ready to go back to work tomorrow. Not excited. The way outside or the ground is half frozen, so I need to rearrange my exercise plans for next week because I can barely walk on frozen ground. How am I going to run on that? We'll figure that out next week. Thank you for watching this first weekly check-in. Let me know what you did on the weekend. Did you do well on your reading? Did you finish something exciting? Let me know in comments.